Yes.
That one is
Exactly.
certain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's no guarantees of what the outcome is going to be for a lot of these things, but you're never going to know unless you put yourself out there. So if you don't take the chance, you don't know.
Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that have shaped their lives, inviting us all to reflect and grow together. Today we're joined by Leanne Linsky, a talented comedian turned entrepreneur and the founder of Plausible, an innovative online comedy platform. With a passion for laughter and a mission to connect people through humor, Leanne's journey is as inspiring as it is entertaining. Let's dive into our world and discover the wisdom that has guided her along the way.
Okay.
James, tell us your name and your favorite.
So my name is Leanne Linsky, and my favorite quote is, "You'll always miss 100% of the shots you never take." And that's by a quote by Wayne Gretzky. Yeah.
How long have you known this?
20 plus years or more. Yeah. 20, 30 years. Yeah. And it's true, right?
What?
It's undeniable.
Why do you why do you think this quote resonates deeply with you? Why do you like this? Why is it your favorite?
I think I really liked it. If I recall, it was a friend of mine who's a musician who said it first, or maybe it was around the time I was hanging around a variety of people in comedy and music. And it really resonated with me because I was doing comedy part-time, for fun in the evenings and weekends and holding a day job. And then suddenly I was being laid off from my job that I had for nearly 13 years. And I was like, what am I going to do? And someone called me and said, hey, I'm moving to New York. Do you want to join me? I found a place to sublet. And I was like, I'll think about it. And that popped into my mind of like, this is a chance. I mean, when the door opens, you got to walk through it, And that was one of the bigger times I think I've applied it. There's been a lot of smaller times of like people asking me to perform in shows, and whether it was a big show or a smaller gig or whatever it was. I applied it also when people were asking me to travel. I had come to a point in my life where I had gone through a divorce, and I decided I wanted to start doing all the things I had dreamt about doing, but I never did because my partner never wanted to do these things. And so I started to say yes, and take the opportunity, because if I said no to these opportunities, I would miss it. Yeah. Like it was just like the quote, right? Yeah. Even taking risk, moving to New York to pursue comedy, things like that. I would have done way less comedy if I hadn't gone to New York. So, yeah.
Now, I want us to like zoom in into a couple of the stories where you actually took your shots. And yeah, okay, can we zoom in? Because right now everything is zoomed out. You're like, you're giving us like a top view of all the stories. Oh, I did this, I did that. Can you zoom in on one of the stories?
Yeah. I briefly mentioned the one about moving to New York City, right? A friend had found a sublet and said, hey, Leanne, you said that if you didn't have that great job that you would move to New York. I have an opportunity. Do you want to take it? And I was like, let me think about it. And I walked around for a little bit, went back, got on the phone, because he told me I had 1 hour. And I was like, yeah, like, and I did. And I had no idea what that would bring, but I knew I needed to step through that open door. And then I ended up living in New York for 9 years and doing comedy and booking commercials and doing stand-up and taking classes and producing shows. It was incredible. And then on a smaller scale, like a spur of the moment, everyday thing, I was running an open mic in New York for many years. And one day I showed up. I would always arrive early so that I could set up and be there, so that when all my comedians showed up to sign up, I had everything ready to go. And I was also producing a show there. And I got there early, and there was a closed sign on the bar. And I was like, what? How can this place be closed? I have all these people coming tonight to perform. And I think I had less than an hour, and I had to walk through the neighborhood. And what I did is I'm like, I'm going to find another place, and I'm going to take a chance, and I'm just going to walk into some random place and ask them if we can put up a show. And I did. And I walked a few blocks down. I think I hopped on a train, went down to a neighborhood where I knew there were more opportunity. And I walked into a place. There was just a bartender in it. Turned out it was the owner. I was like, hey, I have open mic and a show I produce.
Yeah.
I need a spot. The other bar closed down. Can I bring it here? And he was like, yeah, let's make it happen. And he went in the back room and he pulled out a mic and he set up a place for a stage, and I Facebooked everybody, and that became our next place for our mic and our show. And it was like, I could have just said, oh, the place is closed, I'm going to cancel my show and my mic tonight. But I had to take a shot and find a replacement for it. And I did. And it turned out awesome. We were there for, I think, the next year or two at that next location until I moved to LA. And so I think sometimes just taking a chance instead of being like, oh, it's too late, or I don't have enough time, or I think sometimes when there's literally a closed door, take a chance and go open another one. And that's what I do all the time. That's, I think, part of being an entrepreneur is like, and being a comedian, there's a lot of no's in the industry, but I have to keep knocking on the doors and asking for the yes. Otherwise, I'll always have a no.
Right now, something crazy is just a crazy thought is running through my head. And I'm like, how about I was like, I'm thinking of putting you on the spot right now. And the other part of me is like, don't do it. And I'm like, okay. I mean, whatever happens, we can always cut it in it.
Go for it.
Okay. Can you turn the quote into a joke?
Oh, you always miss 100% of the shots you never take. Yeah, that's why I've gotten married 3 times. Like, I figure.
Oh, I see. So you're doing self-deprecating humor. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people will tell me, when it comes to relationships, you have a problem. I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah. I do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It went well. It went well. I mean, the last time we spoke, it was towards the end of the episode, and I didn't get to see your face. All I had to work with was just, voice. And now I see your face, and it's a bit different.
You're like, we should have done audio only.
No, like, I mean, it's different in terms of better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm watching a joke and not just listening to it. Oh!
I have a good face for comedy.
Yeah, could actually be misinterpreted. Not. What am I saying?
I understand what you're saying. Also, I think it's funny.
But do you even understand what I'm saying? Like, what I actually meant was when you said the joke, right? Like, I feel like I was watching a comedian crack a joke. That was what I meant. But then when I said I feel like I'm watching a, I was like, you could actually misinterpret it. Like, I think that you are a joke, then I'm watching you, and then I was like, oh no, I should be clear. I don't want to be saying things that are ambiguous so that people don't read meanings into it. And I was like,
no, I understood exactly what you meant, and I also understand exactly how that could go wrong.
Yeah. Thank God you understand that. So I don't. And we're not. I'm not saying one thing and then you hearing another thing, and there's just dissonance, and we end up fighting for no good reason.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, you miss 100% of the shots. You don't. You miss 100% of the shots. You don't. Now it's. If the thing that I like about the quotes, because I've happened to hear it before, it's not the fact that it's the fact most people they need the guarantee. They set it in kind of, oh, if you do this, if you attempt to be a comedian, if you try to be a comedian, you're gonna be a successful comedian. You need that guarantee. Someone will say that if after 2 years you don't become a successful guarantee, come and meet me and I'll give you maybe 10, how they do guarantee. I'll give you $5 million or something like that. I'm willing to bet my estate on this, and there's no guarantee anywhere, right? There's no certainty anywhere. But then there's one thing that's guaranteed, that if you're not in the game, you can't.
Yes.
That other one is certain.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. There's no guarantees of what the outcome is going to be for a lot of these things, but you're never going to know unless you put yourself out there. So if you don't take the chance, you don't know. It's like, if I don't play the lottery, I'm definitely not going to win. So yeah, I have to go out there and buy a ticket.
If you did win, that would be strange. I mean, Like, oh, and then
That would
they
be
just start
awesome.
calling the number on the screen, and they're like, "Oh, Leanne Linsky, she just won $15 million on the lottery." You start wondering
Woo!
what's going, who put my name in the lottery? Like, who put me in the? That's the question we're asking. Not
Yes.
how did I win? Why did I like? How did I even get there? I can't remember being in the game. What's going on?
Right. And that's the other thing. I love that you put it in the terms of being in the game. You have to get off the bench. You have to participate in the game in order to play the game. But also a bigger part, and I think that's often overlooked, is the journey, right? Because we look at our elite athletes or our Olympians and Paralympians, and they're incredible, but they didn't day one start out at that playing at that level. They started out like most people, and some maybe have a natural talent that they could lean into, but that is something just like comedy or any other skill that is practiced every day and played. You play the game over and over. You get better at playing the game. You get better at same with business or comedy or anything like that. You learn the game of it and what works and what doesn't, how to play better, how to show up better. And I think I don't always see, like, sure, you can win a game, but then there's the next game, or then there's the World Series or the World Cup or whatever it is that you're playing. And even with comedy, you may have a great show, but then you want the next great show, or you want the Netflix special, or you want the next. So it's we play for a game, a season, a next season, a tournament, or whatever it is. But it's an ongoing thing where we continually improve, hopefully. If we're playing, the idea is that we continue to improve, and then our end game changes and our goals change, but we have to keep taking those shots in order to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
them. And it's just evolving.
now that you say it and you put these numbers like 100% and all these numbers running through your head, it makes sense that by mathematical, if I have a 3% chance of the more I try, the likelihood that I would get that percentage to happen. But the question I'm asking right now is that why don't people take the shots in the?
It's a great question. Do they want it bad enough? Like, what's their why? Why, do they want it bad enough? Is it fear? It can often be fear-based. A lot of times people are like, oh, I'm scared of success. It's like, are you, or are you really scared of failure? Because, with comedy, especially, failing is something we do often, or at least I do. I'll speak for myself on this one. Some comedians may disagree because they're always saying they crushed it. But failing is key part, I think, in any journey to success, is we have to learn what doesn't work and why it doesn't work, and have a full understanding of the bigger picture. Because in comedy, I can be funny, like my first times out there, but I listen to new people. They don't always know why it was so funny, and how do they replicate that? You got to know why something's not funny in order to make something funny. So and I think that can be applied to any sport or dance or anything.
For me, I've been thinking things through, and one of the things is the major reason why people don't even take the shots is that they've grown through life. They've had some traumatic experience and all that. They've had people bully them, people complain, people condemn them, people curse them, criticize them, and all those things. And those voices, right, as internalized into their being, that they get to hear that voice, such that if they're like, okay, I'm going to do comedy, before they even start doing comedy, they've rejected themselves, they've condemned, like, so they've heard that voice in their head. They're like, oh, you're not good. What are you going to say in Bashna? And it's not actually the voice. It's more like the voices of people who've said no to them all through their life, in their head. And now they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, it was more like a promise I made to myself. I was like, never be the person who rejects yourself. Like, let that be for others to do. People should reject you, not you rejecting yourself. I mean, that's not your job, right? And yeah, a lot of persons, we before we game, we start with, written ourselves off. I cannot amount to anything. I don't have the skill. I don't have the brain.
It's so true. Have you heard of the book The Artist Way?
Yeah, by Julia Cameron, right? Yeah.
Yes. It's such a great book, because one of the first questions and one of the first 3 chapters, she asked ask yourself to ask all the questions. What have people been telling you about yourself? What have you been told about these things? What have you told yourself about these things? And it's pretty interesting. It's like, oh, wow, there's a lot of self-talk about, am I worth this?
Yeah.
Can I do this? Very important. What a wonderful point. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. You miss 100% of the shots you don't. You miss 100% of the shots you don't. There's no guarantee that you win, but there's a guarantee that
absolutely, I can guarantee that I'll lose. The other thing is, one time we were doing a show. It was musical improv. So we would take a suggestion from the audience and then we'd make up an entire musical right there on the spot. And I remember this gentleman, we asked for a suggestion and he's like, it's not how many times you fall down, it's about how many times you get up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love that. That was another quote. I don't know who said it, but I thought it's really great because in the journey, it's, I'm going to fall down a lot, but it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. That, I pick myself up, dust myself off, and go again. That's the other thing. It's like, okay, I took the shot. What if it doesn't work? Well, then you learn from it. I learn from it. I pick myself up and I do it again.
Yeah.
I do I go for it again. And that's the other, I think if I were to tag on that quote, it would be like, and then keep taking the shots. Like, if the first one doesn't work, try again.
Yeah. I feel like in terms of business and most of the things we want to do, people underestimate the amount of volume it takes to get to where you want to get to. It's let's say you want to be, you write the first two jokes and it sounds terrible. Like, I'm like, write 100 and then let's start before we can start. Right? The volume, like when you see that, okay, I need to write 200 of such. I'm just giving an example. I need to write a joke every day for the next 100 days and then reevaluate and see if I can come up with something good. Then it changes the game that, oh, no, I write 2 jokes and like, it doesn't really sound well. I'm not cut out for this.
Yes, it's true. I met a comedian a few years ago. And he was writing, he kept his jokes in a spreadsheet. We all have our different ways of formalizing it. And I think he was doing that, like writing like 1 to 3 jokes a day until he had all of these jokes. And it was like, because you figure, I mean, not every joke I write is funny, to your point, but I got to keep trying and I got to take them and then rewrite them and then come back to it later and do it. It's not just funny the first time I say it as much as I like it to be. It just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast and for sharing your favorite.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
What do you do and where can listeners learn more about you?
So I am the founder and CEO of Plausible. Plausible is a live online comedy platform. So you can log in as a fan or a comedian and experience live online comedy. And you can create your free account. So it's plausible.com. And that's where you can find me. And if you don't find me there, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Leanne Linsky. Or I should be.
I should be. Yeah, that's true. Do you have the domain leannelinsky.com as oh, you own that domain name? Oh, that's such a huge flex. That go to leannelinsky.com and you can see all the stuff.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. So you can do that. You can find me on LinkedIn or you can find me on Plausible.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Once again, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast. It's been fun chatting.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good to put the face with the voice.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Relatable Wisdom. If you found something meaningful in this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying me a coffee. The link is in the show notes. Every little bit keeps the conversations going. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep growing.